Hey guys, so earlier yesterday I did a post and I said that I would make this video today and that I would share a story with you guys as to how the gym saved my life. Well, this is the story. Um, I was, as you guys know, I used to be really heavy. I used to be really heavy in perhaps the worst time anyone can be different than anybody else, in high school. Now, we've already established that kids can be horrible, that kids can be just hurtful, and the words hurt. And sometimes the words have effects that we don't know they had until it's, years down the line. I was, to be honest with you guys, I'm not sure exactly what I weighed because I was mortified of stepping on a scale. It was something that you would have you would have got me to bungee jump before you got me on a scale. But the few times that I did get on the scale, one was at my heaviest. It was about 350 pounds. It was 348 pounds is exactly what it was. And that was during my senior year in high school. That was 2007. That was 10 years ago. Well, 10 years, it's a long time, my transformation personally has taken a lot of time, and it's had a lot of ups and downs and a lot of just, complete restarts and halts and stops and whatnot. But I don't want to make excuses. It's been 10 years. That's how long it's been. I consider myself to be someone who's friendly, someone who has. I often joke around with Chris, the guy that does the other videos with me, my friend Chris. I go up to him and I'm like, man, I haven't made a really, really good friend in like 10 years. And it's been a ridiculous amount of time. Because Chris and I, we met the first day of sixth grade. So we've known each other for a very long time. Some would say too much time. But we've known each other for a long time, and he's always struggled with his transformation because, as you guys know, he was very skinny. But back to the overweight thing, that sometimes you don't know the type of effects that the people's words are going to have on you. And I was picked on when I was in high school because I was overweight, but I was never physically picked on. I was never beat up or anything because I always had my friends with me. I played football, I was never the type that would get pushed around physically. And a lot of people think that that's all bullying is, oh, well, you got beat up, or you got this, or you got that. It's not. A lot of it can happen up here. I don't want to say it's worse because I've never been physically bullied, and I would never want to speak for someone who has had that happen to them. But speaking as someone who has been emotionally and mentally bullied, like someone who has been called every single name you can think of that's an insult for someone who's overweight, I've heard it. Some are a lot more imaginative than others, but I've heard them all. And you think, I'm just going to shrug it off. I'm just not going to let it affect me. I'll be mentally strong. And yeah, that helps to a degree, but words stay with you. To the point to where it was years after we graduated. It was, we graduated 2007. It was years after that, and I still heard those words in my head. Now, I didn't get into fitness right away after high school. I stayed pretty heavy till I graduated when I was 18. Probably till I was 21 or 22 is when I started to realize that I should make a change. And it was a sudden thing. It was one of those things that you wake up and you're like, okay, I finally see myself for what I really am, for how I look. And I've said this before, if you're big and you're okay with it, man, that's so great. Continue to be happy with who you are. I just couldn't. I simply couldn't. I was depressed. I was sad. I was lazy. I never did anything. There was like a 3-year span in my life where I literally did nothing. And those are 3 wasted years, but I literally sat in a couch, watched TV, and ate. And obviously that did not help. The physical aspect, that did not help. But it was because I was scared. It was because I was scared to try something and fail at it. And I like to think that now, as far as that goes, I'm pretty fearless. If I want to try something, I'll try it. If it scares me, well then hell, it scares me, but I'll do it. And if it didn't work out, well fine, it didn't work out, but at least I didn't have that question in my head, that just always nagging what if. That is the worst thing that can happen. To have that what if in your head is just absolutely horrible. So, fast forward, I was 21, 22 maybe. Let's say 21. I was 21 years old, and I decided, you know what? I need to change. I need to change. It all happened one day. I just woke up. I had a mirror in my bedroom, which I intentionally covered up. I would just throw clothes on it, or I would just avoid the mirror. I always knew it was there, but I would just not look at it. One day, I woke up, and I don't know what had happened. I didn't take the clothes off of the mirror. They just weren't there. Like, they fell. I must have, the neighbor must have bumped the wall hard, and the clothes fell. I don't know how it happened. But I was getting out of my room, and I caught a glimpse out of the corner of my eye of myself in the mirror, and it froze me. It froze me. It scared the hell out of me. And the mirror was off to this side, to my right. And I caught a glimpse of myself, and I was about to go through the threshold of the door to get out of my room. And part of my head was, just keep walking, just keep walking. You don't need to see what's in that mirror. Just keep walking. And the other part was, turn around. So I obviously listened to the turn around part, and I turned slowly, very scared, slowly, and I looked in the mirror. And that was the first time in 3 years that I actually saw myself for who I really looked like, for what I looked like. And it shocked me. It scared me. It literally made me cry. When I looked at myself, I broke down. And I said, okay, you know what? That's enough. That's enough. And because when I looked in the mirror, I heard all those voices from all those bullies and just mean people in my childhood and in high school, looking in the mirror, calling you fat ass, fatty, lard ass, all these horrible things, looking in the mirror. And I saw myself, and I thought to myself, they're right. They're right. It's right there. It's right. I'm looking at it. It's right there. So I broke down. I broke down, and I thought to myself, I have to fix this. I have to fix this somehow, And my parents have always been supportive of what I do, of anything that I do. But I was ashamed to come to them for help, because my mom all my life had always told me, be careful with what you eat. Maybe you shouldn't eat that much. She was always trying to take care of me like mothers do. But I never listened because I was stuck. So when I finally had my realization, I was like, shit, I can't go back to her now after I've ignored her all this time. So I tried to do it alone. I tried to do it in silence. I tried to do it quietly. And I stopped eating. First, it was just very basic. I stopped eating soda and bread. That was it. And it helped. But then I hit a wall. After I lost I must have been like 10, 12 pounds I lost. and then I hit a wall. And then I tried, other different diets. I looked up how to do things. But at that point is when my mom started realizing that I was doing something, that I was losing weight. Because she was always very watchful of whatever it is that I did, especially when it came to that. So she came to me and she asked me, "Are you trying to do something? Are you trying to lose weight? Why didn't you tell me?" And again, I broke down and I told her that I was ashamed. I was ashamed because she had told me what to do. If I would have just listened to her, I wouldn't have been in that situation at all. But I didn't listen to her, so I was very ashamed of that. So I broke down again when she asked me. And, like mothers do, she hugged me, she comforted me, and she said, "Well, now we're in this together." And then she helped me started cooking healthier food, started cooking more veggies, chicken breast, turkey, what you guys know, all the healthier stuff. And it started working, but I hadn't gone to the gym yet. And that's where it really changed. Down the line a little bit, I started seeing some results. But I would look at myself and I'm like, well, there's not as much fat here or here anymore, but I would like to see some muscle. I would like to see myself evolve. And that's when a friend of mine, his name is Josue, he had been going to the gym for a long time. He had always been in pretty good shape. He's an athlete. He always played soccer, so he had always kept himself in good shape. And me and him are very close. I consider him like an older brother. And I asked him, would it be okay if I came to the gym with you? I would love to start hitting the weights and trying to change my body. And without hesitation and without even a second thought, he was so excited for me to come to the gym with him. And he helped me out, and he was the guide that I never had for the gym. That my very first personal trainer, let's say, he was my very first trainer that helped me and guided me in the gym. And that changed my life. The fact that I stepped into the gym, the fact that I made that choice earlier when I looked into that mirror, the fact that I broke down, because it has to hurt bad enough for you to want to change it. It has to hurt so bad that you need to change it. It can't be a hobby if you've always been fit and you want to just kind of stay in shape and whatnot. It can be a hobby. It can be just something that you do. But if you're in the position that I was in, it was it was bad, and it had to hurt that much. It had to hurt. Throughout those 3 years, like I said, that I laid down and I basically did nothing. I became very depressed, I guess. I became depressed, and it never went as far as having like suicidal thoughts. It never got to that point. But it did get to the point to where I hated myself. It did get to the point to where I was not happy with me, to the point to where I didn't care if anyone saw me or didn't see me. I didn't see myself as important enough to other people. And that, to a certain point, it got the best of me, because I didn't go outside. Every time my friends had something fun planned, like they wanted to go to the beach, or they had a party they wanted to do, or they wanted to go on a trip, I just wouldn't go. I would make up an excuse and just not go. Because what was the point? Wherever I went, people were just going to mock me. People were just going to say, "Oh, look at that fatty over there on the beach. He's not even, brave enough to take his shirt off." Or, any variation of that, depending on where we were. That's what I had in my head. And it went away. and I'll be super honest with you guys, it still sometimes comes back. It still sometimes rings in my ear, and I hear those words, and I hear the laughter, and I hear the mocking, and it's scary. It's scary to me because I would hate to go back to where I was. I would hate to go back to those 3 years of doing nothing, of literally having no life and no contact with anyone outside of texts or emails, or even leaving my house only for school, or only to go to work, or only to, the very, very, very basic stuff. So when I stepped into the gym, I felt at home. I felt at home. And I think I felt at home mostly because of how Josue treated that moment, because of how excited he was for me, because of how much his reaction meant to me. And that particular moment changed my life forever. And we went for a couple of years, and it was fun, and then things happened to where maybe I couldn't go at a certain time, or his schedule had changed, so we kind of, went our own ways. Gym-wise, we're still very good friends. I still consider him my older brother. I still, talk to him every single day. But, we just happened to kind of go our own ways gym-wise. But I'll never forget that very first moment. And it was literally one of those moments when someone can go up to you and ask you, okay, tell me 3 moments, the 3 most important moments in your life. That was one of them. And that changed me. As I started, getting in better shape, I started feeling better about myself, and my self-esteem started to go up. I was more confident. I was happier. I was glad to go to the beach. I was glad to go to, I don't know, my friends and I just went to Disneyland. You guys saw the video. And I was happy to do it because I felt good about myself. And there's been a couple of other tough times throughout. Everybody has tough times, and that's just how I've dealt with it. Whenever I have a tough time, or something bad happens, or something unexpected, or something kind of out of left field comes up and hits you in the head, my reaction was always to go to my safe place, which was the gym. So, I guess to summarize, the gym saved my life because it changed my outlook. Because, yeah, it changed my body and it changed me physically, but the change that happened mentally because of the physical change, that was the big change. That was a huge change that always sticks with me. And if you guys are being bullied or anything like that, either physically or mentally or emotionally, I've been through it, not the physical type, but I'm here to help. If you guys, I'm gonna leave the comments open below this video. Comment and share your story. It helps. It really helps to just get it out there, because then you realize that there's other people who have gone through it who can help you. And I want to be one of those people. Let me help you guys, please. I've made a lot of mistakes, going from, they say, from fat to fit. I've made a lot of mistakes. Maybe you don't have to make them if I can help you. All I want is to help one person. If I can help one person change their mind like I changed mine, then this video was worth it. Then everything I've done for the last 10 years has been worth it. Everything I went through has been worth it if I can help one of you guys. That's how the gym changed my life, and it actually saved my life. So yeah, I want to thank, the people who have always helped me, through all this process. Like I said, my mom, she's always been number one in in, okay, are we trying a new diet? Are we trying a new meal plan? How can I help? How can I make it easier for you? Let me help you. She's always been there for me. And it means the world to me. And I love you and thank you. And Josue, thank you. Not sure if you do remember that day when I told you that I wanted to go to the gym, but it changed my life. And the way that you reacted to want to help me, that meant the world to me. So thank you. And you'll always be my big brother, and I'll always look up to you, and you're always someone who's always been there for me through all the the hard stuff, and we share a lot of really cool stuff too. So thank you. And Chris and Jessica, who are the people who I'm currently going to the gym with, who I'm trying to help them now along their fitness journey. Thank you guys for being such good friends. You guys have always, you've always you've always kept up with my insanity. And Jess, thank you for being so cool about how dumb Chris and I can be sometimes. And it's tough to make this video, but it has to be said. And like I said, if I can help one person, just one, it'll be worth it. And yeah, that's how the gym saved my life.